Hey Health Nuts, Dr. Kevin here. Just got home and I'm a little bit warm, but something was on my mind today, so here we go. What's the most important thing to consider in the supplement world? I get asked repeatedly on a weekly, sometimes daily basis, like, hey, is this one good? Or is this vitamin D good? Is this fish oil good? You know what? It's tough. The supplement world is nearly impossible to figure out. So here's what we need to consider. Here's what we need to consider. Three things: bioavailability, purity, and then I'll get to the third one. Bioavailability is the amount that you will actually absorb and utilize. Okay, when we're talking about bioavailability, a lot of people just talk about absorption, but what if the fish oil, let's say fish oil, because that's a super common supplement, and way over 90%, there's been tons of people that have researched this, way over 90% of it's junk. It's junk not because it's not from fish, but because it's toxic and it's not well filtered, and it's not from the proper fish that it should be from, so it's even more toxic. Fish are toxic creatures, not because they should be, but because they're in water and they're continuously taking in that water that has runoff from all our plants and factories and boats and all that stuff. So they're toxic, so we need to get it from the proper sources of water, proper sources of fish, and then it also has to be well-filtered fish oil. Okay, so this is just one example. I'm not talking, this isn't meant to be about fish oil. But bioavailability is absorption. So you might absorb all of that fish oil, but you also might absorb all the toxic crap. Okay, so bioavailability is absorption and utilization. So I don't care how much toxic junk I can absorb. If my body's not utilizing it in a healthy way, I don't want it. I don't want it. So the bioavailability is the percent of the product that you're taking that actually gets absorbed and utilized in the way that you want it to be utilized, right? So we want the purest of the pure products too. So that's number two. Purity. We need to make sure our products are as pure as possible without the toxic crap. And you know what? Here's the hard part. You go to any supplement store on the planet and look at the thousands of products that they have on the shelves, and guess what? You don't know the bioavailability off the bottle, and you don't know how pure. You don't know if they're using any synthetic junk, or if maybe it's not even synthetic. Maybe it's just like fish oil that has a bunch of toxic junk within it. You don't know, and that's the hard part. See, in the supplement world, there's very little regulation. There's very little regulation, at least in the United States of America. Now, across the globe, I would say it still holds true. So every bottle is going to look like it's the best. And some of the biggest companies in the supplement world, guess what? They're out to make money, and they are not out to. Maybe they don't even care about bioavailability. They don't even have to have. There's no regulation that says, oh, you have to have bioavailability numbers. Let's take one of the staples of supplements would be probiotics. There's no regulations that tell you how many probiotics, which are healthy, which are good, healthy bacteria that belong in your gut, that we are not getting nearly enough of today, most of us, because everything's disinfected and sanitized, and we're not around germs like we used to be. So our gut's effective, meaning our immune system and every other system in our body is affected by that. So we can take a probiotic that is good, healthy bacteria in usually a capsule form, and you want them live. You want them live so they're actually effective for you. But guess what? In the supplement world, there's no guarantee that any of them are still alive by the time they enter your face. That's unfortunate because all of them can look amazing on the shelf. They can have amazing stats about how good probiotics are for you on the label. They can have all these stats about how great the research is on this or that. But does that mean that one particular brand? No, so it's really, really, really hard to be a consumer in today's world of supplements. really hard, because how do you determine, how do you figure it all out? So the third one is actually the most important. The third one is the company. The company must be a trusted source. See, this is dating back 10, 15 plus years ago. I've taken hundreds of different supplements from many dozens of different companies, whether it be for protein, for vitamin C, for vitamin D, for fish oil. I've utilized dozens of different sources of all of these supplements without really knowing what the company's standards are, and knowing now that the standards don't have to have any standards. Maybe their standard is to just sell the products, and that's unfortunate. So what I've determined over probably the last 4 or 5 years, what I've really figured out is that we all need to seek out one company, preferably one company that we can trust, where we don't have to know every last detail about every last product and where it came from and how it was sourced, because we know that the company values purity, quality, bioavailability. Like, they've proven that to us. And I'm not saying there's only one company out there that does that. I would say that there are very, very few companies that do that. And there are certain companies that specialize in like 1 or 2 supplements that I've put my trust in before on certain things. Okay, but in general, it would be nice to have one company that kind of covers almost all, if not every single one of our bases, so that we, let's say we get a nutritional test and we find out that we're low on B vitamins. Hey, I've got the company I can trust, and I'm gonna go get those B vitamins because I know this company carries the B vitamins. You know, like, we don't have to like research all the details about the B vitamins that they carry, because the company we know values purity and quality, and they have their own substantial standards. That's what we want. I'm telling you, we cannot know the bioavailability of every product on the market. In fact, most companies don't get a bioavailability for any of their products because they don't care. And I'm sorry to say that they don't care about the bioavailability. They care about if it's selling or not. They don't actually care if it's being absorbed and utilized properly in your body, as long as it sells, as long as they can manufacture. And here's the other kicker. When we're talking about purity, we forget a lot of the times that sometimes purity isn't just toxic stuff that leaches into what they're providing us in the capsules, but sometimes purity or impurity comes from just the fact that the entire thing is manufactured in a laboratory. You know what? For me, I want as close to natural as possible. I want stuff that comes from nature and that has as little processing as can possibly be had in my supplements. I want it as close to food as possible. I do not want a man making my vitamins. I don't want them molecularly formulating any of my vitamins. Because one thing's for sure, when man messes with things, it takes away. It can only take away from what's found in nature. And when man is completely formulating things and not even taking any part of it from nature, we know that it's not even going to hold a candle to what we find in nature. So instead of having, let's say, 10 different supplements from 10 different sources, 10 different companies, let's start shooting for one company, preferably one. Maybe there's a couple out there that have built our trust. Let's start shooting for one company that can cover almost all of our bases, if not all of our bases. For us, you know us, it's Young Living. If it's not Young Living for you, make sure the company has its standards, and that they will not sacrifice, so that we don't have to spend hours and hours of research on every last product that we take. It's impossible, people. It's impossible. Let's get that company that we know, love, and trust, and stick with that company. It's so much easier to have a successful journey in the supplement world if we can do that. So the reason why we like Young Living is because you can go to all the farms where they harvest all this stuff. Any farm on the planet, they have dozens. Either they own completely outright all their farms, or they have complete control over the farms that are not owned by them. And you can go in any of these farms unannounced, open up any door, talk to anybody that you want, and it's a completely transparent company. So we know that they're not trying to hide anything from anyone. In fact, you can be a competitor. You can be developing your own supplement company or essential oil company and sneak onto their grounds and talk to anybody you want, and they're not gonna ask, hey, are you a competitor? You better not be stealing our secrets. You know, they're not even gonna ask. That means a lot. That means a lot. And I've been to their farms, definitely not all of them. That's a goal in my lifetime, to get to all of their farms. But so far, just a handful of their farms I've been to, and I know how it works. I see how it works. I've actually bottled some of my own stuff on their farms, so it's a really cool experience. But that's why I know that we can trust Young Living. I also have some of the bioavailability numbers for certain products, and what I like about these numbers is the fact that they've done certain things to these products. They've added in constituents, natural essential oil blends to a lot of their products, not because they had to. Some of their numbers, like multi-greens, is a green capsule supplement where it gives you greens in the form of capsules without it's obviously minus the what's the word I'm looking for? The fiber, so you can fit it in a capsule. So they've taken out the fiber, and the bioavailability numbers were awesome. Awesome. But then what do? They showed the bioavailability numbers before the essential oil blend that they added to it, and then they showed the bioavailability numbers after they added the essential oil blend to the capsules. This is a proprietary method. They've kind of patented their technique to get essential oils into their supplements, and the bioavailability percentages just flew through the roof. It was good before. They didn't have to even mess with adding anything to it, but they added to it and got bioavailability percentages that are unseen in the supplement world. It's unbelievable. So that to me speaks highly of the company, and that's one reason why they've established my trust. So hey, with that being said, have a happy Wednesday and find yourself a good supplement company. If you don't know much about Young Living, you want to message this page or message us on Facebook, Beyond Essentials Facebook page. Message me personally, Kevin Baird DC on Facebook. I'd be happy to go through any of those numbers, any of the research, any questions whatsoever. If I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer for you. All right, bye-bye, guys.
Toilet emergency.